Hi, welcome to Fieros Reborn. Got my little t-shirt logo on today, my t-shirt with the little logo on. I think it's cute. I think it's cuter than the big flamey one. So when I want to be like mini Fieros, it's like Mario. You know when Mario's the little weenie dude, and he's just like like and really tiny, is like squatting down and jumping things as the tiny one. Then that's him there. And then when I'm big Fieros, then I'm like big Mario, and I can like shoot the fireballs. But yeah. Oh, and we have Light of Jesus in the sky. Um, in the background, a painting I've done recently. Uh, I'm not sure if it's finished. I mean, I need to sign it for one thing, but I guess it's finished. I mean, I don't know what I could do to it honestly to improve it at this point. I was thinking maybe improve some of the edge parts, but I think they want to be kind of more rough than the central part, because the central part, eh, that's part of like having those parts more dull and unrefined enhances and makes this middle part feel more concentrated. So I think it's supposed to be like that. I mean, I made it, right, but it's always a two-way process, as in it's a back and forth relationship between myself and the artwork. So I'm I'm kind of asking the piece, if you like, what do you want? What do you want to be? What do you want to be, man? And then, and then I'm sort of saying back, like, well, I don't want you to be like that. I want you to be this way. So we meet halfway, and so I get something that is bigger than me, like, so it has elements of some other dimension where I'm like not in control and I just do whatever comes and like just do whatever feels right, like that. Well, that's how it feels. It should be. And then there's parts where I'm like, well, no, I definitely want it to have this part in the middle. You know, I definitely want it to be of blue. You know, I'm making decisions, and then some of it I'm just going, let's figure it out together. It's a bargaining thing. Um, but this particular blue light thing uh, started showing up a while ago. Um, this I call it Light of Jesus because I can. It just feels like it has a similar quality to that, to the spirit of Jesus in his essence. This one doesn't particularly. I don't think this one has it. It has a different kind of spirit. This feels more like a jungle vibe. In the outside, I just get this feeling of like a jungle, and then the blue light. I don't know. It doesn't feel the same, but it's got similar qualities. That emanation of spiritual presence or spiritual light, but not the same as the light of Jesus. It's just not. It's just not the same. It's a different type of one. It was supposed to originally be a kind of Chaos Emerald from the Sonic the Hedgehog series. I've got this fascination at the moment for the Chaos Emeralds. Uh, I really wanna. I want to own a Chaos Emerald. Or I want to own all seven of them, or however many they are, in the game. I want to have an actual one because I feel like they will bring magic powers to me. They will, though. I know they will, because I'll charge them up with my light energy. Oh, by the way, my hands today feel like there's light streaming out of them. I don't know how, if they look particularly bright to you, but well, look, they look like they've been bleached or something, I guess. But yeah, I feel like today I've got like spiritual energy beaming out of my hands. They feel quite powerful, if that makes sense. So let me send you some. Hold on. I'll try and reach into the screen and give you a little kind of energy tune up. Yeah, and I kind of have this issue at the moment where I feel like I have to take this thing everywhere. It's going everywhere with me at the moment. Like I just had it in the lounge and I was sitting there looking at it, and now I was like, oh God, I want to do a video, but I've got to bring this. I've got to bring it in with me. um, it feels like it has a cleansing effect overall on the atmosphere, like the auras around. Like I put it in the lounge on the wall, and all of a sudden I started to see parts of the lounge that you just kind of tune out from, like this little corner where these little plugs are. That I was like, oh yeah, I can see that now. uh, and the radiator, I kind of almost tuned out the fact that there was even a radiator, like in the corner of the room there. I was like, it's just you kind of sometimes just don't really look at things. Like there's so many items in here that I never look at. For example, I don't know what half the titles on these things are, right? Because I've just tuned them out and I have no reason to really look at them until I decide I'm going to look at those titles and see what they are. So yeah, and for example, my mum hasn't had a TV in her room for ages, and she said the reason that she doesn't have a TV in her room is because I asked her if I could have her big TV from her room, because she said she doesn't watch it hardly at all. And I said, oh, okay, well, I need to upgrade my TV. Can I have your one? And she was like, yeah, it's fine because I don't watch it hardly at all. And then today, we were like, discussion was going on about the Skybox because we got a new Skybox in, and you can only have one TV per box with this new one called Q, which we've just got recently. And she was going on like, oh yeah, I don't really watch the TV in my room. I mainly want it in my to have it in the kitchen, so we're going to get another one for the kitchen. And I was like, you don't watch TV in your room anyway because you don't have a TV in your room. And she was like, yeah, dude, I've got a big fuck off TV in my room. I was like, no, have you not have you not noticed that that's been gone for like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 months now? And she's like, oh, well, that's how much I don't pay attention to it, isn't it? That's how much I don't watch it. You just tune out like whole swathes of your environment, even though it's immediately accessible to you should you decide to tune back into it. Like I could tune back into any of these random items at any time, but it's just almost impossible to register every aspect of your environment all in one go. Plus, what we do as human beings is we kind of put an energetic cloak over things. So the reason this is hard to see is because it's got all this energetic cloaking over it, which is like this veil of energy that's just it's a blur of energy. So you look in this room and you don't really see individual items, you see just kind of a mess. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna have that in the background for the moment. For this video, I thought it would be more distracting, but it's actually not. It's kind of chill. It's alright. It's not distracting me. Okay, so let's talk about some psychiatric ward stuff. Okay, story time. Fieros' story time. Welcome back to this. Okay. Well, I was in America, wasn't I? That's where we got to last time. I was in America. I was talking to that guy Kieran. I gave him some advice on how to learn how to play the drums. And I was being eccentric. Oh, and then there was that girl. We were waiting in the queue. This is what we were waiting in the queue for. I think it was to wait for tickets to the musical Hair. Let the sun shine, let the sun shine. Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. That's the Simpsons episode. Yeah. What am I talking about? Yeah, so we're waiting in the line to get tickets for Hair, the musical, in New York. And it was going to be an outside performance of it as well, outdoor performance. So in this kind of like Central Park theatre thing, which is really cool. And So we waited like, I think we waited overnight actually. We must have, yeah, we waited overnight to get these tickets. I don't know whether they must have been free or something. Like, I don't know. I don't remember actually paying for them. Maybe I did pay for them. Maybe they would they have been free? Probably not actually. But yeah, so we bought tickets, and when I say we, it was like me, Anthony, Joey, maybe that Kieran guy. I'm not sure. Maybe a couple of other people from the hostel, but and I was there as well. And okay, I was wearing this T-shirt at the time, which funny story. Just a white T-shirt, plain white T-shirt. Um, and it was a replacement costume because I'd got the dress, the golden dress. Oh my god, the golden dress! We haven't really spoke about how did I even get that, and there's a little story about that, which is quite nice to tell as well. But yeah, we will do that. But first, I was wearing this top, just a white top, um, and jeans, I believe, blue jeans, crappy blue jeans, terrible blue jeans. I don't even know where they came from. They might have come from someone else. They might have been donated to me because I was like, I just got rid of all my clothes when I bought the yellow dress. Where did I fucking put them? I don't know. I gave them away or something. I must have given them away to homeless people. I just like, I was like, right, I got the dress. This is me now. This is what I'm gonna wear. This is my character. This is who I am. This is what I'm gonna wear. All right, let's tell the story of the dress. So I was watching Robin Williams on the hostel TV screen, yeah, and he was wearing this kind of funky, snazzy top thing because it was some 80s or 90s performance that he was doing. I think it was a stand-up thing. I think it was a piece of stand-up he was doing, and he was wearing this kind of, back in the 90s where we had these kind of really garish, patterned, kind of neon-y, colourful things. Like some of the stuff that we used to wear in the 90s was quite ridiculous. To be fair, it was toned down from the 80s in a way. But yeah, I remember like my dad used to have these sort of tracksuit jogging bottom things that were all like had patterns on them and stuff, and that was like normal. But if you wore them nowadays, you'd be like, what the hell? And I was thinking, right, at that time, so this was 2007, 2007. I was in America, right, 2007, and I was like, damn, man, how come everything is so fucking grey these days in terms of our clothing? Our fashion sucks. In the 2000s, I was like, this sucks. So we need to fucking like bring back the snaz and bring back the colour and the vibrancy and the life, like Robin Williams in his little kind of 90s funky, colourful T-shirt and crazy trousers. Get up, stand up, get up, stand up. Yeah, I nicked that joke off someone else, but I told it better. So, what am I on about? Oh yeah, the dress. So I was watching that, and then I think Saved by the Bell might have come on as well, actually. And I was looking at that, all the colourful patterns on the title screen of Saved by the Bell, and the clothing that they were wearing as well. I was like, man, our clothes suck. Like, there's something really exuberant and like fun about the clothing from the 90s and even the 80s as well, where it's just all these bright kind of colours that suggest happiness and liveliness and vibrancy and fun. And I was like looking around at all the fashion that was around me and the people, what people were wearing, and I just felt it was really grey and dull and boring and no like patterns and colours and shit. And I was like, right, fuck this, man. We need to bring back these crazy clothes. If Robin Williams can do it, and I admire Robin Williams, I'm talking about from the past now, so he was still alive back in those days, 2007. Can't believe the guy hanged himself, man. That sucks. I still haven't processed that one properly. Like, I need to go back and watch a load of his films. It's just, there's too many celebrities, like, important celebrities died around a similar sort of time. Like, okay, so when Michael Jackson died, I didn't grieve for that properly straight away. I went back and looked through some of the funeral stuff a year or so ago. I still didn't properly it hasn't properly registered, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't cry because I feel it still hasn't sort of penetrated and to hit me that he's gone. I suppose in a way because his music is so strong still. If you listen to him, it feels like he's still there. If you listen to the music, it feels like he's still there. So it doesn't feel like he has gone. I suppose that's the power of music and the power of someone's legacy, isn't it? That you do transcend death, at least for a while, if you give of a creative product, to the world, that you can live longer in the form of your music. Yeah, but he can't actually listen to it himself, though, can he? So he's fucked. But we still feel as though he's there in the form of his music. So yeah, that one hasn't hit me yet properly. Robin Williams certainly hasn't hit me. When that happened, I was living at my dad's house and I was going through a big whole reshuffling of my life, big time. This was it 2014? Yeah, I think it's 2014 when Robin Williams hung himself, and I was like, what? I couldn't even begin to start registering that one because so much stuff was going on in my life. I tried to go into register it and kind of think about Robin Williams and look through some of his stuff and try and grieve about it, honor him in my life and reconnect with all the things that I loved about his work. But it's just too hard because my life was so emotionally messed, traumatic and hectic and up and down and all over the place, and I felt a bit bad. I was like, I can't go there right now. So there are things that I'm still catching up with in myself because a lot of stuff happened in the world and happened in my life that I just haven't had the chance to fully process the past in order to kind of feel like I'm 100% back to now, if that makes sense. I'm 100% caught up with myself and up to date with all the important issues that have happened in my own personal life. So I've kind of registered things and go, oh shit, yeah, that happened. Oh god, oh, I forgot that happened, and oh, that's how that event led to this, and that makes sense why I behaved that way, and that's why the outcome led to that, and that's how my life has moved along. I'm still gradually putting the pieces back together on some of my life story because so much happened that was disruptive and change. So many different changes happened, like moving from place to place, and different bad things happening as well, which I don't want to go into just now. Loads of stuff happened that I haven't kind of gone, oh shit, yeah, all of that happened. So anyway, let's go back to when I was in America, 2007. Robin Williams was still alive, but we were just watching some show of his on the TV in the Jazz on Lennox hostel common room, I suppose you could call it, common room or lounge area. And so I was like, rah, need to get some cool clothes, man. We need to get some bright clothes, some clothes that are a statement of my feeling of fun and aliveness and joy and funniness and bizarreness and zaniness, like Robin Williams, because I look up to him and I think, yeah, if he can wear that kind of crazy shit, then I can wear that kind of crazy shit. And in fact, I should be wearing that crazy shit because it stands more for who I am than all this blurry, browny, grey, kind of black and white, grey, boring shit, green. We need to get the funky colour stuff going on. The zany, funky, jazz feeling. Jazz clothing. Clothing that looks like jazz is happening on the inside of it. Good jazz, not that terrible, boring jazz. Exciting clothing, yeah? So I was like, okay. And I went out into Harlem, because that's where I was staying, and was walking about in the street, went to a market, and then I don't know how I found it actually, just became attracted into this African clothing store, like authentic, I don't know if it was authentic or not, but it seemed authentic. Authentic African clothing. Don't know where exactly from. So they had all loads of different dresses of all different bright colours, yeah? So you got like a long skirt thing and then this top, which is very billowy and flowy. And and yeah, and they had loads of them, loads of different ones, huh? Um, of all different bright, fantastic colours. And I thought this is the place. This is what I need. This is where I've been called here by my little like intention to get this crazy garb, crazy clothing stuff. This is my place. It's appeared in the universe to fulfill this desire that I have had, inspired by the Robin Williams clothing thing and the Saved by the Bell feeling. And I'm like, yeah, here we go. So I looked around in there, and it's just this golden dress, yellow, bright yellowy, goldy color. It's like I think it was a silk dress actually. I keep saying dress. It felt like a dress, but it was a top and a skirt. Right? It's big, billowy, flowy skirt, and this big, billowy, flowy top, and then this like bandana thing, which that might have been, was it for around the belt? I don't know, but I made it into bandana or whatever. It was such a beautiful dress, and I wish I'd fucking kept it, but I gave it away to the universe at some point, which is such a shame. And I should put that on my like to rebuy list. I should find one of a very similar nature to that and get it. It cost me $200. Huh. It was fucking, yeah, it was expensive, man. I don't even know where I got that money from. Like, I don't know how I had $200 that I just was able to go, yeah, let's buy that. But it was a good purchase. And it was amazing. And I think oh yeah, I was also trying to look like Jesus at that time as well. I thought, you know what, I need some sandals. I need some Jesus sandals. So I bought these Jesus sandals. And they're actually really uncomfortable. So I don't think I ended up wearing them for very long. Mm. Oh, and I was wearing them with socks, and people kept telling me off that you're not supposed to wear sandals with socks. And I'm like, dude, I'm a white guy wearing like a big glowing golden African dress with a bandana on. Really, you're going to tell me that I need to not be wearing socks with my sandals? Look at me. All right, you know, like I think I need a whole load of different fashion tips. Nah, so and no, because the chafing. I don't care if it looks stupid. The chafing. You know, I'm not down with the chafing of the sandals. I'm gonna wear socks with my big golden dress. I don't care. Yeah. So I think my hair was probably around the same length as it is now. Actually, probably of a similar color, maybe a little bit shorter. But I had this little. So cool, man! I look like some crazy hippie person. However, it did get me a little bit of trouble because I was a white person wearing a black person's clothing in Harlem, and one or two, certainly one person, went blah 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 when I walked past them on the street, and that was about it. I just carried on walking, but yeah, so it may have been offensive to some people, but fucking who cares? Anyone can wear any kind of clothing. There are no restrictions on clothing, and unless it's like a legal thing, where there are restrictions on clothing and you could die from it. Is that true? Does that happen? Probably. Yeah, but I was willing to pay that price for the freedom to wear the random clothes that were not of my national heritage. Yeah, and it was awesome. So I was like walking around with this, and I felt so good. I felt so right. It felt like I was being myself. There was a perfect expression of who I felt myself to be. That this kind of radiant, golden child of the Lord. And when I was buying the dress, like I was saying to the guy, I think I must have said something like, "Well, do you think when I wear this, do you think it makes me look like Jesus?" Yeah, I did. I asked him that, and he goes, "When people, I don't even know, he might have been Indian actually, not African, as a salesperson." I feel like well, maybe he was. I don't know where he came from, but let's just give him a stupid accent and offend everyone anyway. So he went, when people see you coming down the street, they will say, there, here comes Jesus. He actually said those words. He said, yeah. And I was like, I knew it. I knew it. I knew I was Jesus all along. I knew it. I knew it. Uh, so that really pleased me, pleased my soul, apart from the sandals, which did not please my soul, of my foot. Ah, that was a joke. Yeah. Boom. Yeah. That was like the time when I can't remember it now. It would have been good if I could remember it. It was a really good one. You had to be there. Let's have a look at this thing. The crystal ball. I've never see what I mean by like when suddenly things appear out of nowhere. The crystal ball. It's the Wilson crystal ball. Is that our shield? The Wilson shield. It's a pretty dull shield, to be fair. What is that? A lion? Standing up cat. 3 stars on the shield and 1 lion on the shield. 3 stars on the shield. What's that? A little helmet? What a rubbish shield. Oh man, it's like I'm seeing the whole world through the eyes of the Wilson man. Shield. Are these leaves? Leaves and a hat. It's a helmet, isn't it? Is it though? It could be the head of a bird. No. Okay. So there we found the dress. Had the dress, right? And then I realised that I couldn't just wear the dress, but forever, because I started to really stink, man. That's what happens if you wear one item of clothing all the time. And I was wearing it literally every day. I barely took it off. I took it off to wash, and then I realised, okay, well, I'm gonna have to wash the damn thing because it stinks, and that means I stink, and it means people are telling me I stink because I stank. So I need to wash the damn thing. And I realised, okay, when I wash it, I need to wear something else while it's being washed. So I needed a second set of clothes. So I got this like jeans, which, as I said earlier on, got donated to me, I think, or I already had them. They were like, I saved them out of all the ones. I don't know how I got them, okay? Please don't ask me for details. I can't remember of my own life. And then I just normal t-shirt, just a plain kind of beigey white t-shirt. Yeah, and Anthony, who was still doing the painting on the luggage room, he had this like paintbrush in his hand while I was just wearing this new t-shirt. I may have still been wearing the kind of like bottoms of the dress, the flowy gold dress bottom thing. And anyway, so I was wearing the shirt, and he just drew a circle with his paintbrush, like without any asking of my permission. He just went. And I was like, yeah, cool. So that came out of nowhere, and that was wicked. So I had this like circle on my t-shirt randomly in paint, which just happened like, there you go. So that was cool. And so fast forward, I just remember being in the queue for the tickets for Hair, the musical, which was going to be on in Central Park soon. And I was wearing this t-shirt with the circle on, and I just remember that, and I remember pretending to be a gargoyle. Yeah, like I perched up on this little kind of bit on a side of a building. Not really high, it was only about like this high, but I just perched on there like that. That was fun, and I scared a few people. I think I scared them. I'm making it up now. I tried to. Yeah, so I was just pretending to be a gargoyle, which was good fun. And then this is the real point of this story, why I want to tell you about this story. So we were staying overnight, yeah, waiting for these tickets, and there was this girl who sat in. We were sat in the queue together, like she was sort of there. And we were talking and stuff, and I was wearing my little O circle t-shirt thing, and probably still had the bandana. I'm not sure. Oh man, I need to get that dress. I need to get that. I need to look it up. Okay, don't do it while I'm doing the video though. um, yeah. Oh yeah. So there's this girl, and I guess she was pretty. She wasn't like insanely pretty, but she was nice. And just this, she did this amazing thing. Um, she grabbed my, I think she grabbed my elbow. She like grabbed my forearm and touched my elbow at the same time, and the feeling of it was so nice. It was just this real kind of she did it to say goodbye, like when it was coming to the end of our time, and she sort of, I think she grabbed my wrist and my elbow or something, and just sort of looked me in the eye, and it was like there's such a affirming feeling, this kind of reassuring, it's kind of like, I love you and I'm connected to you and I appreciate you and I have valued the time that we've spent together, but this is also the end. But like, like I feel what we've talked about. I feel what we've been through. I feel this moment. And she just looked me straight in the eye, held my arm with this kind of really loving feeling, and it wasn't like she didn't squeeze it hard. It just felt like this like really affirming, just like, oh, I don't know, it's just so nice. And I would just remember that really strongly, how such a brief moment yet such a really powerful moment too. Like I felt loved, but not in a way that I didn't really kind of turn that into a fantasy thing. It was just like she was there, we had a good time, and then it was gone. But that there was something real that happened there, that something, just that just that one little gesture of a real offering of, I have loved you for this very small period of time, and this has been an important moment, like a tiny little moment, but it has meant something to me, and I want to show you that. I want to give that feeling that you are appreciated here. And she gave me that little feeling. I was like, this is so nice. Just because it takes a certain boldness. You have to really like step so bravely into, I don't know, you like, in order to show someone that you really care and you honor them, it takes a certain amount of willingness or willfulness that you have to kind of say, I am going to show you that I love you. I am going to really push past any barriers there may be to offering you this feeling. And like, yeah, I appreciated that. Like when someone, for example, let's say you're really down and someone comes along and they just stay with you and listen to you and are there for you, like for as long as you need, um just out of the kindness of their own heart, it's a powerful thing. Hmm. So she gave me this little kind of, like, it's like I can feel it now if I do that. It's like she's just really reaffirming, affirming kind of feeling of like, yes, this did happen. Yes, we were here together. Yes, we did share an important connection. We shared a loving moment. Not like we fell in love for like that kind of thing, but it was a loving exchange. Just a very simple, honest moment. And she just looked me in the eye and just really wanted to communicate that with me, and just gave me this touch on my arm and the wrist thing, and it's just like, it wasn't a sexual thing. No, a little part of me went, hello. But it was more about just that feeling of, I don't know, having a real connection, having connected and having it been important. Um, yeah, that even though we were never going to see each other again and nothing was ever going to go further than that moment had meant something. and that it had been a good moment, and then it was a valuable moment, and now it was coming to the end. Just to know, like when someone kind of hugs you as though they had the infinite love of God or something coming through them, I suppose, where they hug you not to get a feeling for themselves, not to get a feeling of love for themselves, but they hug you because they just genuinely have that love there for you. And it's not something, it's just a real supportive feeling that, and when you're being held, that they are not trying to take something from you. They are not trying to get something from you. They're just there to hold you and to hug you, like, and that they can, their kind of emotions or whatever can deal with whatever emotional stuff you're going through. So they're just really, really safe. It feels so safe and so safe. Yeah, safe and held. It was that kind of feeling, but just in a small wrist. I don't know how she conveyed that, just by like the touching and just a quick little kind of affirmative grasp of my wrist and possibly my elbow, definitely the wrist. I was like, wow, that was amazing. And the fact that I can remember that for this whole time, and I managed to talk for however many minutes about this one thing, it shows that it was important, huh? So if there's a lesson to take from that, is something along the lines of be brave in the way you show your love for people, and go all in with your gesture of love. So offer yourself and commit to that moment. If you're gonna show someone that you value them or they're important to you, then really go for it. It's sort of a fearless. I want to try and convey there's a certain fearlessness to it. So it could have gone wrong, if that makes sense. So it's the person who takes that risk that they could be rejected, that it could go wrong for them, but they're still willing to offer and to try and navigate through the possible barriers or rejections to still be honest and to still care and to still offer the love, even when it may not be accepted well, it may not be received well, but the person wants to. It's like, I feel like a kind of, you want to cut through in a way any of these barriers between people, and to be able to say no, it's actually okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be loved. It's okay to be here as well. It's okay to feel safe with other people. It's okay to not be afraid of other people. We don't have to be afraid of other people. It's that feeling of just piercing all the veils that we have about how strangers shouldn't speak to each other, and that people are dangerous. There's a subtle fear that everyone seems to have in the world at some level, in some situation, that other people are dangerous, or it's dangerous to be myself, or it's dangerous to show love, or it's dangerous to be loved. That I see that all over the place. I see that all the time. People looking away from each other, avoiding eye contact, and I do it myself. I'm not trying to say that I'm some kind of like superhero who is all loving and all powerful in my lovingness. No, but it's such a shame, really, because there's nothing really to be afraid of in most cases of other people, but they're afraid of me, so I'm afraid of them, and I'm afraid of them because they're afraid of me, and it's just this kind of stupid thing. And you have to be willing to, and strong enough, I suppose, to cut through that and to be okay with the potential of it not going well. So there's a certain fearlessness to interactions, loving interactions. Okay. So that's the lesson out of that. Then I spoke to a raccoon in a tree. True story, actually. Spoke to a raccoon in a tree. I feel like I gave my ticket away for some reason because some other guy wanted to go see it. And I gave my ticket away to this other guy who wanted to go see it. Who I have the feeling his name is of Jason. Of name of Jason. Could be. And then I still ended up going to Central Park to the show. But I just couldn't get in because I didn't have a ticket. And I wanted to like try and get one off someone else there, like from a tout or something, but I couldn't for some reason. I don't know why, but I couldn't get in. And what ended up happening was one of my friends, Joey, came out in the interval and let me go in instead of him, which was so sweet. Because he said, because I was wearing this stupid, amazing, yet obviously kind of ridiculous African dress, the golden flowing dress, the golden African dress. I was wearing this dress and just this hippie thing. And hair is all about that hippie stuff, eh? In the 60s. Sex and drugs and rock and roll and things. Flower power and LSD trips and all this crap. And he was like, I mean, that's why I wanted to go and see it, because I was really fascinated by the whole hippie thing at that time and the spirituality of it. And Joey came out and he was like, man, you know, this is for you. You've got to be here. This is your thing. You know, this is your night. This is what you're about. So you have this ticket and go in instead of me. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. So there's so many like little kindnesses that happened, which is quite amazing. And then it's just reminding me of something else actually, which wasn't so great. But there was a lot of kindnesses, and then there was some violence towards me, which that's another story for like the next video or something. God damn it! I don't want to tell that story, but I'm gonna have to now, aren't I? Anyway, yeah. But I got to see the second half of Hair, which was cool, man. Yeah. I wish I'd seen the whole thing. And then I became obsessed with the soundtrack to it. Obviously, afterwards, I bought the CD, and I re-listened to it recently, and it's still pretty cool. So much sex, sexual language. It's just like, oh man, so rude. And there's like a lot of nigger in there. They use the word nigger a lot. I guess it's like back in the day it was said a lot more than it is said nowadays. But yeah, that was in there. And in fact, the word nigger was a word that came up a hell of a lot while I was in America. Just everyone was saying it. Everyone was saying it. Everyone was saying it. Yeah. On the street, everyone was saying it on the street. Yeah. And so it's strange that it's like got such a taboo around it. So I still feel that there's a taboo around this word. And only certain people are still allowed to say this word. And it's now got a different spelling as well. It's Niggah, apparently, or Nigguh, nigger. Because you're only allowed to say it if you're black still, or if you're like doing it really intensely ironically, if you're white. And I just don't understand the whole fucking thing. It's a fucking word. I understand that it's got a horrible history to it, but how are we ever going to break free of that history if we continue to energize that word with such a negative feeling? That we need to somehow step away from the sound and the syllables of that word to somehow break down the attachment and the negative energy charge that is attached to this just two syllables of sound, nigger, which in another language doesn't mean anything, but in this language it does mean something. And I feel like it's a real problem that we need to get over, because if you say that word in the wrong context to the wrong person at the wrong time with the wrong feeling, then you could still be beaten up or potentially even go to jail. Um, as I say, in the wrong situation at the wrong time, the wrong person. So it's silly words. Yeah, I hate that. I hate that how powerful these words have been made to be, because they only become powerful by us giving them this power, don't they? And it's this particularly negative power as well. So it's a particularly destructive power that some of these words have, and they only have that power because we allow them to have that power. We buy into them. It's like the words themselves are like little packets of energy, and that they kind of hit you with their little packet of energy, and it's, if it's a negative energy, then you feel, I've been hit by this insulting, derogatory, negative feeling, upsetting word, and then so how do we pull that energy apart and kind of dissipate it and like free it off so that it becomes neutralized? It becomes more of a it becomes the same as any other word in terms of its energetic charge. So you hear it and it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hit you with that same thing. Yeah, I think that's something we need to do overall. With all these kind of insulting, difficult words. Fat is another one as well. Fat. The word fat has a whole kind of energy around it, doesn't it? Fat has, it carries its own weight. It's got this energetic feeling to it that if someone calls you fat, it's bad, and it's got the shame. There was a lot being talked about fat shaming and stuff these days, and it's the word itself has been conditioned by the way we've used it, so that it means more than it doesn't mean anything biological anymore. It means something like something else. It means something emotional. It means something social. Yeah. So that's just my little thoughts. We need to somehow neutralize these words that have got all these negative associations and connotations to them. And I think the only way you can really do that is to not buy into them anymore, as in to not allow them, not feel them. No, you have to confront them. Basically, you have to confront it. You have to confront the feeling that these highly charged words create in you. So you have to face that feeling, and you have to feel that feeling, and you have to feel the feeling that is generated in you when someone says that to you, or when you say it yourself, and you have to kind of process that energy in your own system, so that you gradually over a period of time become, it's like becoming desensitized to it, but it's that sounds weak. It's becoming neutralized so that it doesn't have an effect on you. You become free of any negative effect that a word has on you, so it doesn't like carry a bad vibe anymore for you. So it can just, doesn't mean you have to go around saying it all the time, but the word has it no longer feels like an insult, that it just kind of passes through you if you do hear it, or if someone does insult you with it. For example, the ginger thing was a big thing for me for ages. Like, I used to be called ginger as an insult for years and years and years. And now when it comes up, I somehow neutralized it. I dealt with that issue somehow, had a little bit of therapy about it. It wasn't specifically about that, but that did come up as part of like bullying from my childhood. That came into the therapy that I was going through, and I did some writing and stuff. And the whole the word ginger itself has its own little negative connotation to it. It's like it has a packet of energy around it. So some people would say that the ginger is something to be praised or to be valued, highly valued, or because it's attractive, or because it's creative, or ginger people are aggressive. Aggressive. Is that the right word? Maybe. Yeah. And they're very raw and powerful energy thing with the redness. But see the difference between the word ginger and the word red. Red-headed, ginger, redhead, ginger. They have a different feeling to them, don't they? It's like you can almost tangibly feel the energy around ginger and redhead. For me personally, redhead doesn't have any connotation. I could make it into a connotation if I wanted to. Redheads, orange hair, golden hair boy. Well, I can't really do that. But ginger, the thing there, because of my personal history with that word, having it come into me and like kind of being used as an insult towards me, it does carry a negative connotation to it. And so I've done work in my own personal healing journey to like deconstruct that and to feel the feeling of it and to release that feeling so that it doesn't no longer feels like an insult when it comes in. There's still one of my friends who says he what do you call me, ginger pubes, right? And that used to bug me. It used to really bug me for a while. And anyone talking about ginger, the color of ginger or the hair color of ginger, right? Anyone saying any of that stuff to me, I'd be affected by it. I'd be like, it pissed me off. It really wind me up. I'd be like, why are you? What's the deal? Someone shouted out to me when I was doing a performance, "Go on, ginger bollocks!" And I was so pissed and so upset. I just left the stage at that point. I was like, fuck this. I don't know. Why am I doing these gigs? Like, if I'm going to get stupid fucking abuse like that. But now, something's really shifted in me that I feel like it doesn't apply to me. It's just, I feel it to be like just another life experience that just passes through my consciousness. I don't feel myself attached into that. It's almost like I see it as just a word that comes in that I hear and then it goes out and I forget about it. And whereas before I would react against that word and go, oh, don't call me that, and oh, it's not, it's not even ginger really, it's strawberry blonde, and have all these like little kind of arguments with the person about it, either in like to their face and it's just like, oh man, leave off with the ginger thing and try and set a boundary around it, or just be upset in my head and like have a go at them, be resentful in my head about it, like, oh, why is everyone fucking calling me ginger all the time? I hate when people call me ginger, blah blah blah. And then I kind of just got to this point and it just like fizzled out and I just don't care anymore. It doesn't, I don't see this as ginger hair. I don't care if it is ginger or not. And finally, the most important part is the hair is nothing to do with who I really am. It's an expression of who I am, but it's not the deepest part of me. And I live more from the deepest part of me. So it's like, when I'm fat, I feel fat and grim and I don't like it and I prefer to be slimmer. My tummy feels like a bloaty thing and it just doesn't feel nice and it feels uncomfortable and I don't like the way that it looks comparative to how I would normally look. But it's like not the end of the world, I suppose is a good way to put it. It's like, these are just things in life. This is all part of just life, and I'm going to work to improve it. But it doesn't hit me right at the core of myself anymore. The core of myself is a lot stronger than it's ever been. And I feel like, you say what you fucking like in a way, and in a way, do what you like. Just don't beat me up because that's going to hurt. Yeah. But it like petty little things. Most things in life feel very small in comparison to the sense of self that I have. So it's just like, yeah, things just kind of come and go, whatever, carry on. So it's a weird noise from out there. Yeah, so words, that's my dissertation on words and the energies they carry, the little charge of energy that they have, and that we need to start deconstructing our responses to them, so that when the word comes in that is a powerful negative word for you in particular, you need to allow yourself to be triggered and allow that trigger to go all the way to the end point of its triggerage. So you need to allow yourself to get angry, to get sad, to have all those emotions like shame, guilt, whatever bad emotions, unhappy emotions, or even good emotions as well. Like there's some certain satisfaction of being noticed, perhaps, and go through all that and process it all, so that then when that word comes in again, it's less, and you're like, it doesn't bother me as much. But you have to kind of go through it as a process of observing the response that this trigger point um, gives you. So if just a harsh word comes into you, specific words, usually people have got specific words that are upsetting. For example, stupid, fat, ugly, bald, fuck's sake, ginger, and then a whole load of the different racial type of ones, which I'm not even going to go into. But if you know it, if there's a particular one to do with your race or the color of your skin, your ethnicity, your background, anything like that that would feel insulting to you, like you should be able to go through life and to never feel insulted by anyone or anything, because you don't attach into, you don't, it's like you go beyond other people's opinions of you. It doesn't matter if they say a harsh word to you, because you're such a big person that it just comes into your aura, and you just doesn't, it's like doesn't even hit you kind of thing. You just, yeah, you laugh it off, or you just kind of like process it immediately and just like, well, what am I, do I have to do? I don't have to kind of insult them back. I don't have to do anything with that has come in there. It's just okay, I'm going to carry on with my day, you know. It's just, oh, so you've called me a racial word. Uh-huh. Okay, carrying on. It's like total non-reactive approach, but you can only get to that by figuring out what are those like trigger points specifically, and then you take it into some kind of process where you work with what that does for you. How does it make you feel? What does it make you want to do? Do you want, like, do you find yourself like arguing with that person in your head if someone calls you a certain word, uh, or do you find yourself going inward and taking that in as a real identity complex, and you go, oh, I hate myself because of this, um, because I've been called this and it's true, and and you take that in, you go deeper into it until you get to the point where there's a place beyond all the triggering that is bigger than all those emotions, that can handle it, that can hold it, that can diffuse it, and you find yourself that is beyond the concepts of yourself and beyond what other people think of you and beyond what you think of you even. It's just a place of quietness, deeper inside, a place of power, a place of strength. And you're like, there's a part in you that is not touched by anything in the world. There's this part of you that is deeper and more still and more complete, finished. Feel this place inside you that feels like it's always okay. You have to go real deep inside to find that. And that's the part that allows for bad stuff to happen and good stuff to happen, and yet it still stays okay and peaceful and still and calm and at one with itself throughout all of it. Okay. I feel like we've had a little peaceful, we've kind of calmed down to a peaceful level just now. That's quite good, isn't it? So, there you go. Bit of me buying a dress, walking around in America, going to see hair, and then another story to come up later. Thanks very much for watching. Thank you for allowing the blue light of, looks like the Lord Shiva. I've got a picture of Lord Shiva in my room, and I was looking at this and I was going, this looks very, very similar to the blue thing. And the picture I've got of Lord Shiva is in a jungle thing, right? And the Shiva is this blue dude in the middle, like holding a fork, pitchfork, kind of death to you, stabby fork, long flowing hair. And I thought, this looks very, very similar with the blue energy. But yeah, I'm still not sure about it. Like, I like the blue thing, but there's all this murky crap around the outside. I'm just still not sure about that. I don't know whether I want to brighten up the whole thing in general, or whether to leave the blue murky shit, because the blue murky shit is kind of representative of the darkness. There's a lot of turmoil in life. There's a lot of turmoil in the world still. And although this bright, brilliant light is trying to shine this spiritual presence into our lives, there still is this crap, and the blue light is emerging to clarify and to cleanse and to free up and blow away all the dark, stagnant energies of the world, so that we can see everything more clearly, and we have a sense of brightness in the world. All the items and stuff still stay the same, but the negative energy that's accumulated around them, a bit like what I was saying with the words, negative energy that's accumulated around words or objects or items, places, you as a person and other people, we have this like negativity stored in our auras. The spiritual light from the deeper place inside you, the consciousness, comes in to clarify things, and it kind of just burns through and singes away negativity, basically. Negativity. I said that in a strange way. Negativity. Yeah, so thanks for allowing this into your space here today, and thanks for watching. See you next time on Fieros' Story Time. Good night. I need to get shuffling papers, don't I? So you always shuffle papers at the end of a news report.